What's up, guys? Anton here from dropshiplifestyle.com, and you may or may not know this, but about every 2 weeks, I typically do a different training webinar, and these webinars are live. I do them either from my office here in Austin or my home office or wherever I am in the world. We get about 1,000 people from all around the world to hop on these calls, and I usually teach for about 60 minutes, and then I end it with a 30-minute question and answer session. So during this Q&A, I literally open it up, and whatever people want to ask, they could ask, and until my voice goes out, I continue to answer questions. So what I realized over these past few webinars that I've done, so over the past, I guess, couple months or so, a lot of the same questions have been coming up, and a lot of the questions are like, well, Anton, I really want to do this, I'm interested, but what if I get sued? Or aren't suppliers going to sue me? Or isn't this illegal? And it's weird, like that's where the conversation is kind of shifting, like it's coming up a lot more than it ever did before. And while that's a totally valid question and something that I think should be addressed, it's something I've never really spoke about in different YouTube videos or blog posts or podcasts or anywhere I've been, because honestly, it hasn't been an issue. But I do think now that that kind of conversation is picking up steam, this is the perfect time to bring it up, to discuss it, to share my thoughts. So that's exactly what we're going to do in this week's episode of Dropship Weekly. Okay, so I think the first thing that I should talk about is being sued for selling specific types of products, because that seems to be the major concern. Now, I want to be clear, you can get sued, by anyone at any time for pretty much anything, especially in America, which is where I'm based in the States. You can always get sued, but the people that you're probably hearing these stories about that are getting sued, that are getting cease and desist letters, that are getting their stores shut down, that are losing their PayPal accounts, their Stripe accounts, their Shopify payments accounts, the reason they are doing that on the product level is when they are selling, almost always, either copyrighted or trademarked products or brands. So if you're brand new to e-commerce, you might not know. You might think, hey, it's totally fine to sell, I'm wearing a Shinola watch. You might think it's totally fine if I could find Shinola watches from China and sell them online. Now, this watch from Shinola is made from, a factory in Detroit. So I don't know, I haven't searched for this, but if you go on Alibaba or if you go on AliExpress, it's possible that you'll find Shinola watches, right? That look very similar to this. Now, this is a smaller brand, so maybe not, but if you wanted to sell something like, Game of Thrones hoodies, right? Or Game of Thrones pillows, which I saw on someone's store that wanted me to review it, which I probably still will. If you find those products from China and you build a website that's called GameOfThronesMerch.com, or even if it's called, AntonsMerch.com, and it's selling all Game of Thrones products with their characters, right, their intellectual property on these things, well, at the very least, if you start to get traction, you're going to get a cease and desist letter, which means basically the company's lawyer that owns the rights to that property, that IP, that intellectual property, they're going to say, listen, cease and desist, right? Don't do this anymore. And if you don't comply, then it usually says what the next step is, and that next step is usually a lawsuit. And by the way, if you're moving enough volume, if you're infringing enough on certain brands' products, they'll go ahead and just go straight to a lawsuit sometimes. So it is very serious. So you should never do that. The only way you should sell Game of Thrones products, I don't know who owns that IP, but let's just say it's HBO. It's when HBO says, yes, you could sell our stuff. Same thing, people always want to sell different sports team apparel, and I get it, sports are a multi-billion-dollar industry, but you can't just go and start selling, New York Jets hoodies because you want to. You need to actually get approved and authorized to be a partner with the NFL and sell that type of products. So the first reason that I think people are asking about this is, totally valid. Like, there's a lot of products that if you just want to sell without any authorization, if you just find them on, Oberlo or on AliExpress or on Alibaba and you list them, yeah, there's a good chance you can get sued. So totally valid claim. Now, let me just make a distinction here that, again, if you've been following me for a while, if you've been following Dropship Lifestyle, you already know this, but the types of products we sell, we actually do get approved before we sell them. Now, we're not going after brands like Shinola or like the NFL or, like any major TV production, but the brands we're going after are companies that make legitimate products, right? Like the company that makes these chairs. Now, we wouldn't just, again, let me see what name is on it. Howarth, okay, that company Howarth. I've never even we bought these when I bought this office. But if we just wanted to sell those chairs, I would contact that company Howarth and I would get approved to sell their products. So I would be a retailer for them. Same thing with the other 500 chair manufacturers in the States, right? Or that source products in the States. So if you do things the right way with drop shipping and you sell products that you're authorized to sell, you don't, again, I'm not a lawyer, like things could probably come up somehow, but you definitely don't have to, if you do everything right, you don't have to worry about the brands you're selling for suing you, okay? That's not an issue. You're not, stepping on anyone's like intellectual property because you're authorized to sell their products. They said, yes, please sell our products. We want you to bring us more sales. You're not trying to be sneaky and sell things that are cashing in on someone else's hard work, okay? So that's the first thing that I think should be covered. Now, the second thing that is important to talk about, again, I don't know how it is in other parts of the world, but in the States where I'm from and I live, anyone could sue anyone at any time. So, let's just say, I don't know, you give a customer places a $20,000 order with you, right? Let's say you sell these chairs and someone order, maybe they're $500 each, I have no idea, but you sell 20 of them and someone buys them and whatever, they all go to your customer and maybe the shipment gets lost somewhere, or maybe the customer's not happy with them, or maybe you just, I don't know, maybe you're a bad person and you never ship the order and you try to steal the customer's money, right? All these scenarios could happen, and if the customer is mad enough and they're not being satisfied by your customer support and basically your company, then let's say they sue you, okay? Again, that could happen. Anyone could sue anyone. Now, here's where things I think are pretty important based on where you are in your business. And again, not a lawyer, not legal advice, but this is just kind of common knowledge. When you're structuring your business entity, you have a few different options. And the first, which is how I started, is just to be a sole proprietor. And that means doing business as yourself, right? And if you want to start a business today as whatever your name is, boom, you could do it. You're a sole proprietor. It's under your name, good to go. Now, when you're a sole proprietor, right? If I sold these chairs to someone as a sole proprietor, and again, let's just say, I was a terrible person and I screwed them over and I never shipped them their $20,000 order, they could sue my company. And because I was a sole proprietor, that means they could sue me. So if I owned a $10 million house and I had 15 Lamborghinis at it, they could sue me and possibly, if the damage was big enough, get my personal stuff. Because when you're a sole proprietor, your stuff is your business's stuff, your business stuff is your stuff. It's all in one basket. So you do open yourself up to liabilities when you do business as a sole proprietor. Again, that's the way I started my business back when I was right out of college. I was like 21 and I didn't have anything. So I just started, made a few sales. And then once I made a few sales, I was like, okay, let me figure this out from the best tax structure and from the best protection structure, asset protection structure. So I literally did what you should probably do, which is go on Google, and I typed in the town that I was living in at the time, typed in small business accountant, found one with good reviews, went to his office, and then he walked me through different business structures that I could set up. Now, I'll give you two quick ones because they're just the most common. One is an LLC, and if you use an LLC, it's a pass-through entity, so the money, still comes to you and whatnot, but that business now takes on some of your liability. So the liability, again, if you get sued, and again, you have to make sure your assets aren't commingled. You have to make sure things are actually separate from your business and your life expenses. But if you set it up correctly, then a lot of that liability, if again, your company gets sued, goes to that corporation, not to your personal assets. So keep that in mind. But again, it's not as easy as just setting one up. You do have to make sure all the funds are separated and make sure that your business entity is actually your business entity and you keep your personal stuff personal. But if you do that, that provides a layer of protection. Now, the next one, which is the one that I went with, is what's called an S corporation. Now, an S corporation is very similar to an LLC. There are obviously a lot of differences as well. Some of them are with how you pay yourself as a business owner. Some of them do help with your tax burden, depending on how much revenue you bring in and how much you pay yourself. But another benefit of having an S corporation, just like an LLC, is that it does provide some asset protection if, again, all your assets are not commingled. That way, if I got sued for, screwing someone over on an order, or just because they were mad at me or whatever, and they won, then my personal assets would be protected. It would be the business assets that were at risk. So those are, a few different things to keep in mind. Now, with that being said, I definitely think, again, not legal advice, but I definitely think it makes sense once you're making money, at least to have it where your business is separated from your own personal stuff. So not being a sole proprietor anymore, talk to an accountant, see what's best for you, but either an LLC or an S corporation, have a separate bank account for that, have everything, literally separate. Like that pays you, that's your asset, that's your business. And that will provide, again, if you do it all correctly, that layer of protection should you ever get sued. Now, knock on wood, I've been in business now for 12 years and haven't had to experience anything like that. So it's not like you're going to be getting sued every other day or anything, but just keep that in mind. Another thing that is important to note, guys, like I mentioned the product example in the beginning and why people get sued for that. Listen, if that's the type of business you want to run, it doesn't matter if you start an S corporation or an LLC or whatever. Don't sell people's intellectual property. It's not a business that's worth anyone's time. It's not sustainable. It's something you can and will get sued for, and it's just it's super shady. So don't do that. Keep it ethical. Keep it legit. There's plenty of money to be made while you're actually building a real business that serves both you and your customers. So. Hope this answered, a lot of those questions I've been seeing about, getting sued and the legalities of dropshipping. If you have any more, feel free to post them below. And I'll check the comments over the next few days and provide answers and replies down there. With that being said, guys, if you didn't know that I do these webinars and you're interested in getting it's like 60 minutes of training followed by a 30-minute Q&A, look for a link below this video. I'll put one in the description. It'll show how you could register. Again, they are live. That way I could interact, answer questions in real time, and also just, kind of custom tailor the presentation to whoever is on the call at that time. So check the description for that. As always, if you got value from this video, please do give it a thumbs up and definitely leave a comment to let me know. I appreciate you guys. I don't know if you've noticed, again, if you've been following the channel for a while, YouTube has really picked up for us over the past few months. I'm going to attribute it to putting out content that I'm assuming you guys are enjoying because it's getting more engagement than ever, they're getting more likes than ever, and our subscriber base is growing. So definitely it gives me a lot of energy and motivation to make these videos for you every week. So definitely appreciate you, and if you're watching this and you're not subscribed yet, you should subscribe to see what this is all about. Make sure you get a new training video at least every week from right here at Dropship Lifestyle on YouTube. So thank you everybody, and I'll see you next week for Dropship Weekly. Bye.